Great. So my name is Einar Sævarsson. I'm here to tell you how Stavanger-konserthus is preparing for the future. But first, just a little bit about me. I'm from Iceland. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I spent my last venture. I spent 12 years in ticketing, building ticketing companies in five countries, and successfully in 4. Romania went pretty bad. I really hope you find this relevant and inspirational, what we're talking about here today. Let me start by saying that we're in the middle of the 4th industrial revolution. We at the office call it AI or die. Everybody knows, you all know artificial intelligence. Yes? Come on. So I'm not here to give you a lesson in history, but it is important to recognize what is happening in not only in our industry here, but in kind of every industry. But the main wake-up call today is that this is highly applicable to venues. I think there's a major potential because you see all of the characteristics needed to benefit from this fourth revolution. I mean, we have highly digital operation. We have multiple systems. We have multiple touch points for the customers. There's an abundance of data, and I guess for all of you, you have a pretty high digital spend. I mean, your marketing is more and more going online and so on. So what we have been doing with Stavanger-konserthus is that we've been looking at the different digital opportunities and how Stavanger-konserthus can embrace these new technologies like Activity Stream to improve the customer experience, increase productivity within the organization, and also optimize their marketing. So first, I would like for this presentation not to be extremely weird. I want to present a few of our agents. So are you familiar with Siri on iPhone? Yes? Okay, great. You're very silent. Maybe it's so early in the morning. Or maybe I'm just in Norway. So think of these as kind of series, except they are proactive. So they won't wait for you to ask questions. They will just come and tell you what you need to know when you need to know it. So first we have Holmes, who's kind of making sure that everything is as it should, and letting you know if something is about to run off course. We have Providentia that tells the future. We have Sexton, which helps with following the customers and making sure that you're delivering a great customer experience, and then Thijs, who's the keeper of fortune and prosperity. So when you see these pictures throughout the presentation, this is what they represent. But if we talk about these 3 things that we're mainly focusing on here, the first one is as customer experience. And a few examples. One of the things we call them customer moments. These are moments that you have for customers where you can jump in and please them. And this would be a great time to maybe do like a YouTube video, right? And make something special for them. I took 2 random examples here. There's Björn. Is a repeat traveler, which means that he doesn't live in Stavanger. He just travels here a lot to come to Stavanger-konserthus. He actually lives in Flekkefjord. He's visiting for the fourth time in 2016, and he did also attend Kveletak back in 2013. So it's obviously a fan. This is when you should greet him, and do something special. And of course myself, who is a loyal customer of Stavanger-konserthus, attending this this conference here now. My second visit to Stavanger in 2016. Another thing that we do, we call them customer opportunities. So one example is when people are visiting your venue for the first time, you kind of want to reach out to them and give them the full overview of what they can expect, how they navigate, where they should park, all of these things. But you don't want to do this every time. So with Activity Stream, you can get. We kind of proactively give you a list of all the people for each show that are visiting for the first time. Maybe somebody books online a lot of tickets, eight or more tickets. Every time this happens, I guess if you have a restaurant, if you have any concession sales at the venue, you want to reach out to these people, give them a call and say, hey, is there anything I can do to help you plan your visit to make it more pleasurable? Make sense? It's about understanding the customer, which is all about statistics, right? For example, the average spend of a customer here is in Stavanger is little over 1,500 kroners. The average customer buys to 2 different shows per year. This is what you want, yes? No. Not at all. It's all about understanding. I mean, we've gotten to the era where you have the opportunity of now understanding the individual customer. And I kind of like this example because it rings very true for companies that do subscriptions. So here you have, this is a fictional example. You have John Doe and you have Jane Doe, right? And they're both subscribers. So as a venue, you would probably communicate to them in a very similar manner. They would be on your subscriber email list. Yes? No? Probably. So you would essentially view them as identical. But the difference is that John Doe, he's actually shown up for 8 of the 8 shows that he has subscribed to. And he's bought to 2 other shows, and he opens every mail that you ever sent out and visits your website, while Jane has missed 4 out of the 8 shows he bought to. She just unsubscribed to your newsletter and so on. So here you're dealing with completely different customers, and you should be approaching them differently, although this is really the case. So understanding the customer is actually about understanding 3 things. It's about understanding what they like, how they behave, and how they group together. So one of the things that we at Activity Stream do is that we do behavioral tagging of customers and classification of customers, so that you can easily understand where they are. If they're A, B, or C customers, if they're budget buyers, if they like to buy early, if they like to buy on impulse, all of these things. And we looked at some data for Stavanger Concertus for the last 6 months, and we found out that some interesting statistics, like 11% of the people that come here are visiting the venue for the first time and should be treated as such, while 18% of the people are loyal customers. There is a group of budget buyers here, people that like to come often, but they will always buy the cheapest tickets. While you also have a group here of premium. We call them premium buyers, who will consequently buy your most expensive tickets. Most of the people attending Stavanger Concertus, they like to buy their tickets early. So those should be contacted with offers way in the future, because they're not going to be really interested in buying something from you that's happening in 2 days, or probably not. While about 10% of the people attending the shows here, they actually don't like to plan that much. They just buy last minute and come. And all of these are very important traits of a customer when you're deciding how to communicate with them, what to communicate to them, and when to communicate to them. Like Grete and I have been discussing. I mean, there's a very interesting segment of people here that like to buy single tickets last minute, because very often you have single seats available in quite nice shows that you end up not selling, and this is a perfect segment to market to, right? And what we're also trying to do is that we're trying to look at all these customers and break them up into logical groups, or I don't like the word stereotypes, but or archetypes. But I hope you understand what I mean. So you know what kind of groups or predominant traits are coming to your venues. Are you following what I'm saying? Yes. Okay. Great. And it's extremely important to be able to both view the individual customer in high detail to know what they like. This is a screenshot from, or a fictional screenshot from Activities Gym, where you can see everything that the customer has done and so on. But it's also important when you are looking at your business, that you understand how your customers are developing over time. So this is a fictional example, but how many of you know how you're doing in this respect, if your customers are spending more or less year on year? Anyone? Is this information you have? I would think this is extremely important when you're running a venue, knowing in this example you see that 20% of your customers, they are now spending less than they did a year ago, which is kind of concerning, while only 15% are spending more than they did last year. And I think it's important to know these kind of things, because you can only move the customers in the right direction if you know where they already are. And one of the models that we've been working with is this one, where you can place customers based on frequency and spend. And either you want to inspire people to come more often. You have some high spenders probably that only visit your venue once a year. You want to get them to come more often, or you have people that come often but they spend very little money, and you want to find out how to inspire them to spend more at your venue. And we call this uplift potential, and this is kind of the key to getting more out of your existing customer base, and understand how to work with them. And just one last thing to mention on that is that you should view all of your or everyone as a potential customer, and mentally track, both mentally and digitally track, when people become known customers, when they become first-time customers, and where they are on the spectrum of being a loyal to an inactive customer. But going on to higher productivity, this was customer experience. With this abundance of data and all these things happening, it's great to have some agent monitoring your business for you and telling you what is happening. Simple things like knowing when a price zone sells out, or when a show sells out. This is something you could easily miss during the busy day to day, and also being able to kind of look a little bit into the future, how your different shows are likely to sell. This is a really interesting example, actually. We decided not to show what show it is, but this is an actual show taking place here in Stavanger Concertus, and Activity Stream doesn't know anything about your plans or what you intend to do, or your marketing campaigns or anything like that. It only knows the data, and based on the data, we can do predictions that actually are remarkably spot on most of the time, telling you how your shows are likely to sell. But in this example, Grete says to me, yeah, but you know, we're probably gonna sell more than half of these tickets because we're planning a big marketing campaign. And I think this is very, very interesting if you can have a system tell you where you're likely to sell out and where you're not likely to sell out, because then you can plan your effort based on that. And it is great to have some decision support. So if you're running a Google campaign or a Facebook campaign, you can know if you're underperforming immediately compared to what you usually do, because maybe you set something up wrong. Maybe there's just generally little interest in that show, in that particular channel, and so on. And of course, it's great to know if a show is likely to sell out, because then you might cut a little bit back on the marketing spend and save some money. Another thing that's pretty important is just getting visual aids. So when you're working with a large amounts of data, being able to visualize it properly really helps you understand what is going on, and it's difficult for the human brain to consume large amount of table Excel type data. But once it's shown to you in an intuitive way, you very quickly get a good overview. So going over to how we're planning to optimize the marketing here, and this has a lot to do with connecting data. So not just looking at the different data silos, but actually viewing it together. So I kind of like this example. This is a fictional example, but let's say you did a Facebook campaign where you spent 2,000 kroners that generated 6,000 kroners of sale. So I'm not a marketing expert, but I'm guessing that would be a pretty successful campaign, yes? Except if it turns out that you already know 80% of the people that bought through that campaign, and you have permission to contact maybe 90% of those, then it suddenly became a pretty shitty campaign, and you should have contacted these people just directly. Are you following what I'm saying? And this type of information easily gets lost when all of your data sources are not connected, and you're just viewing them as standalone. This is more a fun example, but it's kind of nice having somebody just watching your sales and watching your digital engagement for example, on your website, so you can know if there's a sudden interest in a show, or if there's a sudden interest coming from a place. Maybe somebody blogged about the show, and that's generating a lot of sales. You want to know that immediately, and you want to have the opportunity to reach out to maybe that person or that media or whatever as they have a way of influencing your buyers. And then of course the marketing opportunities. It's pretty awesome having somebody looking at your shows and letting you know when you have marketing opportunities that you have not used. For example, in this example that you have 183 customers that are very likely to be interested in Biffy Clyro show that's coming up. I mean, getting that list is quite valuable, especially when the show is right around the corner, because you only have a limited amount of customer, a fixed amount of customers, and they have to be communicated to wisely. I mean, you can't just spam people all the time with irrelevant things, so they will not want to receive your newsletter, or they will, at least their interest in what you offer will go down. So being able to use machine learning to help you automatically create these segments is the way to go. One of the things that we've tried and been very successful with is creating specific segments for just particular shows. So for each show that you do, you know exactly who of your customer base to contact. And this, in my opinion, is definitely the future. And even repeating that for the channel. So now you know which people you know that are interested in a show, and knowing which channel, if you should contact them via mail or whatever media you should use to get to these customers. So you can really prioritize your marketing and get the most return on investment. And you should always start with the market, or usually you should always start with the marketing efforts that are free. So mailing to the people that you know and that you have permission for. So to kind of summarize, it's about the right information at the right time to the right team member, and what you need to do, these things that I have been talking about, is that you need to put up within your organization kind of an infrastructure where you can continuously deliver these insights and observations and suggestion. And after spending now quite some time in this industry, I've come to believe that the delivery is the absolute key, because I've never met anyone who has the time to dig through the data and spend time looking for something that they don't really know what is, and hoping to find anything. Do you know what I mean? Yes? I get very nervous because you're so quiet. This is an example of how we're doing it here and how we deal with this at Activity Stream. We actually just create personalized channels and channels for team where all of this information that we have been talking about is just pushed out to the right people or to the right team, making sure that they can be acted upon, because it doesn't actually matter if you have all the insights in the world. If it's not brought to the right people and it's not acted upon, it didn't create any value. So I think often this delivery piece is missing, and this is kind of how it works, and how I think you should be using this opportunity, this technological opportunity that has come with the fourth industrial revolution, is that you find piece of technology to continuously monitor everything that's happening, and spotting things of interest, then doing a deeper analysis and evaluation, turning that into actionable intelligence or even suggestive actions or plans, and then finding a way, like I said, to push that to the right person so that they can be much better at their job, which of course leads to a better business. So I think the three reasons why you should be looking at these new ways of working is that, like I mentioned before, looking at the data connected, it just fundamentally changes the conclusion of what you're seeing. These advanced technologies, they just enable the possible, because we don't have the time, the skills, or even the means to go through these type of analysis that I have been showing you. And I think the live actions are the future, looking at past data and looking at historical statistics. It's becoming really a thing of the past. So just a few statistics for the last 4 years. Stavanger Concertos has sold close to 1 million tickets to 2,000 shows and had over 100,000 customers. And I think the point that I would like to make is it's pretty difficult to manage if you're selling 200,000 tickets per year, and I mean it's on average it's 550 tickets per day, ranging up to 5,000 when there are big on sales, and you can't really have people go through all of that to see where you could improve. You need some kind of system to do that for you. But Stavanger Concertos is doing well. About 70% of shows sell out, which is great. But of course that means there's an opportunity to sell more to 30% of the shows, and there is a high digital marketing spend here, which means that investing in technology to help you improve that is very, very valuable. So the project that we're doing here is basically in a few phases. It's about creating the complete overview by collecting and connecting the data, helping with enrichment and visualization, doing the analysis that I talked about, implementing delivery within the organization, and answering the question, how can all of this be put into good use within the organization, which is kind of the main question to answer. But just a few words about activity stream. What we do is that we help companies deliver a better customer experience and improve the bottom line by using operational intelligence and artificial intelligence. This basically means that we do these three things. We deliver infrastructure, we deliver the analyzing capabilities, and we deliver the delivery part that I was speaking about. But what I was hoping that you would take away here today is that the time is now to really start adopting these technologies. You don't have to go like crazy all in, but you should start exploring what you can do. And artificial intelligence is for every organization, including yours. And it doesn't actually matter what you think. You remember when the internet came along and people said, yeah, I don't really believe in the internet. I don't think that's going to be a thing. It's the same thing with AI and these advanced technologies. It doesn't actually matter what you think. It's happening anyway. And you might as well get on board with it now.